Question 5. Yeah, page 335. Talking about a house fire on Shabbat. So if the fire breaks out on Shabbat and it's clear that nobody's in danger, so you're not allowed to put out the fire on Shabbat. Even though your belongings is gonna get burnt. It's sad, but saving a life breaks Shabbat. You're allowed to break Shabbat. For saving your items, you're not allowed to break Shabbat.
Your call has been forwarded to
so you're not allowed to put out the fire on Shabbat. So what do? You let it burn. You let it burn down. Hasan shalom. But if there is a chance that somebody might be in danger, so you're allowed to put out the fire, or there's a mitzvah to put out the fire, or call the fire department. Okay, number 2. A fire may not be extinguished if everybody already evacuated the home and there's no chance of the fire spreading to other homes. But if there's a chance the fire will spread to other homes, or it'll damage a gas line that will lead to a bigger danger, then you're allowed to put it out on Shabbat. Even in an apartment building that has a fire in one of the apartments and it'll spread to the rest of the building, it's a mitzvah to put out the fire on Shabbat. There's elderly people, there's children in the other apartments, so that could be a danger to all of them as well. Okay. Number 3, even if a fire, let's say you live in a place where the neighbors are very far away, so your house won't burn other people's houses. So over there, even when you're not allowed to put out the fire, you're allowed to hint to a non-Jew that if he puts out the fire, he'll be rewarded for what he does. So that would be the only situation that you'll be allowed to try to save it. Otherwise, it's not. Number 4, the Chachamim were concerned that if a fire breaks out, the owner and the members of the household may panic or try to save their possessions and forget it's Shabbat and put the fire out. Therefore, the Chachamim said you're not allowed to save items from your house, right? So let's say there's a fire, God forbid, in somebody's house. All the best, Michael. Let's say somebody's house is on fire. I want to run inside quickly and save stuff. You're not allowed to. The only thing you're allowed to save is things that you need for that day, like clothing, utensils, and food. You can't open your safe and start taking out all the stuff you want to save from the house, because the rabbis are concerned if we let you save stuff from the house, you're going to end up putting out the fire yourself, which is not allowed because there's no sakanat nefashot. If there's sakanat nefashot, so it's always allowed. But if there's no sakanat nefashot, you're even not allowed to go inside and bring out stuff. Okay. What about books of Tanakh, Chumash, Chitushim, Sfarim? Those are allowed to be saved. That's a mitzvah to save those. They shouldn't get destroyed. But personal belongings, you're not allowed to save. You're allowed, however, number 10, you're allowed to extinguish the fire only in indirect way. Garama. How do you do that? You place plastic bags that are filled with water around the fire. That way, when the fire reaches the water, it'll pop the bags, and then the water will put out the fire. You're not allowed to throw water on the fire. You're allowed to put containers of water next to where the fire is. Eventually, they'll break, and the water will come out and extinguish the flames. Or let's say, this is what some tactics the fire department does. If you soak a wall, right? The wall gets drenched, so that when the fire reaches it, it won't burn it because it's soaked. So therefore, you're allowed to do that also because that's considered indirect. Okay. Let's say somebody sees electrical wires hanging on Shabbat, and someone could get shocked, right? You're allowed to call the electric company to remove the wires. But you should try to have somebody warn people not to come by until you find an non-Jew to call the electric company instead. Let's say you see somebody get in an accident on Shabbat, car accident. What do? There's a possibility someone is physically injured in sakana. Obviously, you're allowed to call Hatzalah in order to save that person. If there's a gas leak, let's say the pipe is leaking gas, you smell it, or there's a chemical spill, something that's dangerous, that's also considered sakana. You're allowed to go and call authorities. 15, if a child is locked in a room and he can't get out, you're allowed to break the door or call someone to break the door if there's a danger to the child. What about if somebody's child goes missing? Also, that's a sakana, and you're allowed to go and break Shabbat in order to find him and to save him. Okay, moving on to the next topic. Now we're talking about Maaseh Shabbat. What's Maaseh Shabbat? When somebody breaks Shabbat, right? Are you allowed to benefit from what they did? Let's say somebody cooks on Shabbat. He said, when did you make this? Oh, I cooked it today on Shabbat. Chai, eat. It's good eggs. One second. What? How'd you cook on Shabbat? It's asur, nilzeh. No, okay, I'm not religious like you. Okay, but now the Chachamim made it, you're not allowed to benefit from Shabbat desecration because the Chachamim wanted people to feel bad and to stay away from doing Chilul Shabbat. Some people could say, okay, for my religious friends, I'll just cook for them on Shabbat. They didn't do Melacha, I did Melacha, no problem. No, the Chachamim wanted us to stay away from Shabbat desecration, even from enjoying from it. Okay, now, there's different types. That's when you get direct benefit and you get indirect benefit, okay? Like, for example, somebody had a brit, we were talking about last time, a brit on Shabbat. Somebody drove to the shul on Shabbat, and he brought candies in his car. So now he wants to throw these candies, he throws these candies, now they're asking, can we eat these candies? Because this candies was through Chilul Shabbat, they brought it in the car. So now the question is, can we benefit from it? So over there, that'll be an example of indirect benefit. Why? Direct benefit is, it was created and it was made on Shabbat. These candies were not created on Shabbat. They were brought to shul on Shabbat, but they didn't create the candies in a forbidden way on Shabbat. So therefore, it's indirect benefit. It's not direct benefit. So therefore, we'll see that will be mutar. Okay, one may benefit from melacha that is subject to halacha debate, even though we follow the stringent opinion. For example, right? This that we say there's a prohibition of benefiting from something that was desecrated Shabbat, that's only if it's 100% forbidden. If there's mahloket, then we don't say it's asur. For example, do we heat up liquids on Shabbat? We don't heat up liquids on Shabbat, right? Soup that got cold, we don't put it on the plata on Shabbat. It's asur, it's cooking. But since there's opinions that say it's allowed, so if somebody did it, we don't say it's asur to eat it on Shabbat, because it's mahloket if it's asur. Halacha, we don't do it. But if somebody did it, it does not become forbidden on Shabbat to eat it. But if they turn on a fire, that everyone agrees is asur. No, there's no mahloket if you're not allowed to turn on a fire on Shabbat. So that you can't benefit from, because everyone agrees it's asur. What about if something's only asur rabbinically? Okay? For the Torah, it's not forbidden. Midrabanan, the rabbis made it asur on Shabbat. Over there also, there's no prohibition of benefiting from it. So you should know, not so simple, it's not so easy to say, oh, Hilul Shabbat, okay, asur, asur. You have to know, is this everyone agrees this is asur? Or is this Doraita or Darabanan? If it's Darabanan, you're allowed to benefit from it on Shabbat. So you see, it's not so simple. Okay, good. This is where the person didn't know it was asur. If a person knows, good morning, if a person knows it's asur, then it'll be asur until Motzei Shabbat. But if it was done by accident, it's not prohibited to anybody on the Shabbat. Okay, good. Okay, we're going to continue with this next time. We're talking about children. Sometimes kids, they do Hilul Shabbat. You know, one time their phone, you used to have phone on the receiver. Remember those days? We used to have phone in the house, house phone. So if you left it off the phone, if you left it off the receiver for too long, so they used to make noises. So the kid used to put it back. So we're going to see about kids and on Shabbat if you're allowed to benefit from things that they did on Shabbat. Baruch Amen.